All right. Hello and welcome to Thursday night Facebook card class with CJ Card Creations. My name is Christy Hillock. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Salt Lake City, Utah. I am so glad that you're watching. Whether you are catching me live or on the replay, make sure that you drop a comment so I know you're here. I am really excited about tonight's project. I am going to show you how to do some triple stamping with that Leaves of Holly stamp set that we've been using all month. So I have loved this set and I wasn't even going to buy it. But one of my downline, Tootie, had asked if we could maybe do some triple stamping with it. And so I decided to go ahead and get it. Hey, Mom. And see what I could come up with. And so this is the result of that. So I have just a few things to talk about first. If you want measurements for tonight's project, make sure that you head over and subscribe to my weekly email. I really do try to keep it to weekly. Every once in a while there will be something extra, but it has measurements for my Thursday night projects. It has information about all of my classes, has information about Stampin' Up! Specials. Hey, Tiffany, thanks for being here. Hi, Janie. So yeah, it's full of information and hopefully useful for you. So then the next thing is that if you want to receive kits to make all 3 of the November Facebook cards, and I forgot to pull them off of my display out in my, I don't know, studio, craft room, extension, whatever you call it. But anyway, where my classes are. So I don't have them with me to show you, but make sure you go back and look at them if you haven't seen them. We did heat embossing last week. And then 2 weeks ago, we just did some 2-step stamping because that is one of the features of this stamp set. So if you would like to get those 2 plus tonight's, there is a host code to shop with. And it's just a $35 order in my online store and you get the 3 card kits. And then this month, my usually I have a class to go. And this month it's actually if you order the Fitting Florets Suite or collection or suite collection or whatever they're calling it. It's really fun. So I will send a set of cardstock to make 5 projects with I'll send you the PDF. So that is just through the end of the month. And I want to say maybe the swirls have sold out. I think that's what it is. So if you need some, I have an extra set, so let me know. And I think that's it on that. I have a class coming up next Monday night, and that is just my regular monthly card class. And we make 3 projects, and it'll be Christmas cards next Monday. And then I also have my tags and bags class on December 10th. And the registration deadline for that is the 22nd, which is next Tuesday. And then finally, we have the Good Things Come in Small Packages Paper Pumpkin subscription period going on right now. And that will allow you to make 16 gift card holders, and you can add on 16 card bases and envelopes if you want to that coordinate. And that add-on kit is only $10, which is an incredible deal. So I am really excited to see that. I still haven't gotten my From the North Pole paper pumpkin that was the last kit subscription. And it makes tags, I believe, and I'm really excited to see that. So once I get it, I will show you guys. And I think that's everything I wanted to tell you before I flip the camera. So it's nice to see all of you here and chatting, and I appreciate the shares. I'm just going to flip my camera here and fix my lighting, and we will be ready to go. So as you can see, this is the stamp set. And when I mentioned 2-step stamping, that just means that you get a lot of layers, and we're actually going to do it tonight too. But you can see this is less detailed and then the more detailed image. So usually I do the more detailed image dark, and then the kind of the more filler image a little bit lighter. So I am using Evening Evergreen ink for this project, and I guess you might like to see what the project actually is. So bring this in, and I have done triple stamping before, so that's just referring to these 3 different layers getting all stamped at once. But I've never done it when it wasn't like symmetrical, or like proportionate layers, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I thought this layout, I found it from Brandy Cox, and I thought it was really cool. So we're gonna do this tonight. Hi Pat, thanks for being here. And I will just set this up to the side. So I've got just a standard cherry cobbler card base here. So 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4, and it's just a half sheet of cardstock. So there is that. And then I have all of these pieces of Sahara sand cardstock, which is a color that I don't love and don't use very often, to be honest. But for this project, I just felt like it was perfect. So what I'm going to do, I'm glad you like it. I'm going to bring in my little glue dots here, and I just want one kind of right in the center of this piece of cardstock. So there is that, and I'm going to put it just about right here. So I want it centered vertically, and then horizontally it's just a little bit off center. Let's see, and then I just need that glue dot to catch. So I'll rub that, and now I'll bring in this little piece and grab another glue dot. And the reason I'm using glue dots is they are pretty easy to pull back apart without damaging too much of my cardstock. So that is what we'll do once it's all stamped. So I do want to make sure that this is as straight as I can manage. And then let's see here. Oh my gosh, I'm losing stuff all over the place because I didn't actually clean up from what I was doing earlier today. So my Evening Evergreen ink, and I am going to start with my detailed stamps. So you can see there's a lot more lines on this one than this one. And that's how I know this is the one that I want to start with to make the image darker. So get it inked up really well. And you can see it's all covered with ink. And then I am just going to stamp that right there. All right, and you can see these little gaps, and that is totally okay because we're going to cover it up with the cherry cobbler mats when we get to that point. So I've just re-inked this again, and I think I just want to come just right there. All right, and now I'm going to bring in the other size holly leaf. It's a little bit bigger. So we'll get that inked up. I think that looks good. And it is going to come just right here. Oh, and that is why we would prefer that it stick a little better than just one glue dot, I guess. But I think I can line them back up here. So, things, they happen. So you could do 2 glue dots. It's just that the more adhesive you put down, the more difficult it will be to remove down the road. But I think that looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to ink this again. Can you guys believe that Thanksgiving is next week? I am not there, like just not at all. I have been working on a food drive at Jonah's school, and I will finish that this weekend, hopefully. I don't like how that did, and it's not perfect. You can see a little bit of double image, but it's okay. And then just, all the other things. And usually my goal is to be done with Christmas shopping by Thanksgiving. Anybody there? Because I sure am not. I don't know. I think Joe rubs off on me more and more every year because I am just really struggling with the amount of stuff and gifting for the sake of gifting, and so drive my mom crazy. Sorry about that. But anyway, it's just the kids don't need toys, and Emily's too little still for a lot of the experiences that we would like to give them. Oh, before I do this, I'm going to stamp off once so that my detailed image is lighter than my filler image is lighter than my detailed image. Yeah, you mom, you really like gifting and you're very good at it. So yeah, we are just trying to work through that. And Emily's birthday is this weekend, and I'm kind of blown away that she's going to be 4 because it really doesn't feel like that long ago that I was starting my business and in the hospital at the same time. So yeah, it's kind of weird. We were talking to one of our neighbors. I don't know if I stamped that off. Maybe I did. One of our neighbors this evening about just kind of our history for a little spotlight thing they do for the church newsletter in our neighborhood. And I didn't need to read that. And so it's just funny looking back over the years and all the change. And so anyway, that's a lot of reminiscing. Hey, Jane, I'm glad you're here. What is angelic for? I don't know what that is. It's definitely not my family, so it must be something else. All right, so I'm just gonna line this one up. And this is what's really nice about photopolymer stamps when you do it right, which I definitely did not just get that right, but sort of close. You can see through them so that you can align them properly. So I think my stem curled on one of my stamps. So that's why the stem didn't line up properly. Emily, oh, please God, let that be true, Jane, because yeah, there's no angel in this house right now. She and I have both been sick, and it has made her even less charming than usual. So anyway, but yeah, I can definitely always pray that she will turn into a little angel. So, all right, last one, and then I'm gonna check because I think that I stamped the inside too. I mean, from a distance, of course she looks angelic, but oh my gosh, this child. So on the inside, I did one detail leaf and then just from our home to yours at the bottom. So get my, where did it go? The larger detailed leaf here, and slide this out of the way. And we'll just do this. And I really love decorating the inside, partly because it brings the theme from the front through to the inside, and even the envelope if you do your envelopes. But it also makes it less space to fill because sometimes when I'm writing cards, I don't have as much to say as I have space. So it's always one thing to think about. Tiffany, you're sweet. I mean, I do love them, and I've been enjoying a lot of their antics, but I just could use a little more of children being seen and not heard sometimes. So anyway, I'm glad you like the card. Let me find my sentiment. I mounted the Christmas wishes already, so we will bring in this strip of cherry cobbler and get that inked up. And I don't know why I cut such a big strip because we really don't need much. So that looks reasonably straight. And I'm going to clean this and then I'll pull out the other stamp. And then I will show you how to put this all together. And then I have a card to show you that I made thinking I was doing the right thing for a tutorial share that I'm in. So what we do is we all create a project that's based around a theme and then send it in, and somebody puts it all in a nice format, and then we use them to send out as thank yous. So some of you may have received those from me. I send one for $50 purchases and one for $100 purchases. And so anyway, working on the December one, and I totally forgot that I was not supposed to use mini catalog products and made this adorable card that now I have nothing to do with, so you guys are going to get to look at it because it's really fun. So let's get this all put together. Need some liquid glue here. And I started designing my tags and bags class today, and I'm using the celebrations something or other stamp set. I don't know where I put it now. It's missing, but these are the dies. And they are so fun. They make these awesome tags, and there's balloons and hearts, and so it covers lots of different holidays. And I think that it's going to be a really good class. So if you are not registered for it, make sure that you register, and I'm doing a to-go option for it as well. And I try to limit those to needing 3 to 4 ink pads and then the bundle. So that it's reasonably accessible if you want to do it to go. And then again, it's on December 10th at my house in Murray if you want to do it in person. So remember those glue dots that weren't holding as well as I wanted them to? Now, these are not going to come off. There we go. All right, so just gonna peel these off, and then I like to mat first and then add to the card front, if that makes sense. So we'll just do that. And if you want measurements for this, again, just make sure that you're signed up for my weekly email. This one especially had a lot of pieces and parts, so I have no idea what the measurements are. So I am happy to send that project sheet out. And if you do end up ordering with the host code that is listed in the description of this video, then I will send you the full PDF and all of the pre-cut cardstock and everything. So now what we're going to do is just line this up like, let's see, so that it looks like the stamp is continuous. I think that pretty well got it. And then we will get this last bit mounted. You guys have gone entirely quiet, so I hope everything's okay out there. I am kind of sad because I won't be with you next Thursday because we will be having dinner with all of Joe's family. And then the following Thursday, it's December. So this feels like a really short month for some reason. But anyway, Advent starts. Do you guys celebrate Advent? I was looking at all of the Christmas related holidays in December, and I just have so many memories of studying all the different Christmas practices around the world. And it's really, really fun. Mom always made them really special. I think that looks pretty closely lined up. So we'll do that. And get this onto the card front. And then for the sentiment strip, I just really like cutting the ends at an angle sometimes. I think it adds a lot without being anything complicated. So kind of see where we want that. Before we do that though, I'm going to show you, I spritzed this. So if I can find my cherry cobbler markers, this only works with, I guess it kind of works with the Stampin' Write markers, but I prefer to do it with the blends. And this is my little spritz studio here because the spritzing goes absolutely everywhere. But what you do is you bring in your Stampin' Blend and you get the brush tip and just take the lid and you just, it's kind of gentle, but you just flick. So hopefully you could see that. And you can see that it isn't super overpowering, but it does just add a little something to the card. And I'll have to make sure that that was actually even included in the instructions because I can't remember now. So I am just going to bring this in and cut it. It's, you know, not perfect, but it totally works. And then I popped up the sentiment on dimensionals, which gets a little bit tricky because of all the different levels of this card. So what I'm actually going to do is just do a little bit of glue across the top where I know it's going to be on the tallest layer, and then this dimensional at the bottom where it's on the lowest layer, and we will call that good. So make sure it's straight before I really, I mean straight, it's such a relative concept, but I think that'll do. All right, while that glue is drying, I am going to dig out some gold Simply Elegant trim that you know I've been using a ton this month. And this one is beautiful, which is why I use it, but it is a little more fiddly than I normally like to mess with because for some reason, I guess the metallic in it just slips more than regular twine. So I think that bow looks pretty good. Cut that and find those glue dots from earlier. And when your glue dots are rolled the right way, it's really easy to just put it on there and then pick it up as shown. So we'll do that, and then I'm just going to trim that end a little bit. Okay, and now the last thing that we need is some pearls. We need some pearls. So we're back to the festive pearls here that are absolutely beautiful. And actually, I believe they're carrying over, which I was really excited about because they released the spring catalog to demonstrators this past week, and it is super fun. So that also means that we find out what is not hanging around. But there were a few things that I'm really, really glad They are. Sadly, this bundle was not one of them. So once everything goes on sale at the beginning of December, it is a while supplies last situation. So if there is something that you want, make sure that you go grab it because it really will not hang around. They used to guarantee stamp sets and they don't even do that anymore, which I think is interesting because they make them in Kanab, Utah. But anyway, all right, so there is tonight's project, and I hope that you guys love it. I really think it's beautiful and it looks like there's a lot going on, which there is, but it's also very forgiving. So that is really fun. And then this is the little project that I was telling you about that I made to ultimately no purpose. But this little moose, am I saying that right? Is so stinking cute and he just looks so cozy and happy. And this is called an envelope fold card. And I used my Splatters embossing folder, which is one of my absolute favorites, and these awesome adhesive stars. And then on the inside, your friendship warms my heart with the little bird singing. And so this, I feel like even though the stamp set is mostly Christmas, it's totally not a Christmas card. The pool party lightens it up just a little bit, and then the colors on the bird and the moose are super bright and happy. So I really enjoyed that. So that fold will probably appear again. And I mentioned my Fitting Florets class kit. So if you're still not sold on it, let me just show you a couple more samples because I cut the oval out of gold glimmer paper and it's so pretty. And then you guys, this is really kind of dumb, but I've loved this Merry Melody embossing folder since it came out last year. And only yesterday did I realize that it has the clefs, so it's very easy to tell which way is up. And I bet I've sent upside down music a lot of times, so that's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, this one's really pretty. Got a little Wink of Stella there. And then this one is similar, but much more lighthearted, similar to the envelope fold, but using the ovals and that Christmas sentiment stamp set that's part of the collection. So anyway, just a few things to spark your creative energy, and hopefully you guys will create something out of all of this and share it over in my CJ Card Stampers group. Anytime that you have made something, that is a great place to share it, get feedback, ask questions. Everybody in there is really, really nice and just likes to be supportive of you. So I think that is everything. And like I said, I will not be here next Thursday. So I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I will see you when it's December because that's kind of crazy. So thanks again. Talk to you soon. Bye.